Here we go. All right. Okay, beautifuls, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We are here today to talk about how to attract clients with successful affiliate marketing, aka how to get other people to promote you. And spread the word about what you're creating. So this is all about how to create win-win agreements so that your partners, your co-promotion sisters, your affiliates, your JV partners, whatever you want to call them, so that your people, your cheerleaders promote you. And this is just with the intention of reaching outside of your current network. Because ultimately we're all growing our lists, we're all growing our audiences. So this is what we're diving into here today. And what I wanted to do before we start, I'm going to introduce our very special guest speaker, guest teacher, expert. I'm going to go ahead and light a candle, and we'll just take a few moments to take a couple of breaths together. I have the candle lit, and I'm going to just place it right back here where you can see it. And let's just take a moment to close our eyes and just take a couple of breaths to just be able to drop in together. Taking a deep breath in and out. And another deep breath in and even slower out. So my intention for you, my dears, is that this is a relaxing part of your self-care, that you feel nourished by this call, not only by the wisdom that you will receive, but by our connection and the tapestry that we continue to weave together. So thank you again for being on time. So let me introduce our amazing guest. I will start out with my personal introduction of this woman. So Laura Cornell and I go back, I want to say about 15, 16 years. We both started out as yoga instructors at the Kripalu Center, both trained at the Kripalu Center in Massachusetts. We happened to connect here. I don't even remember how we connected. We taught some yoga together. I taught at her studio. And then we've just been in touch. And it's amazing how our lives have followed these wonderful parallel paths to eventually stepping into the coaching world and the world of creating transformational events and workshops and ultimately serving women in very similar ways. And of course, she has her own set of amazing genius skills. So she's very successfully launched summits and events. And part of that is through her wisdom around having other people promoting her offerings for her and doing that in a very conscious, deliberate, and effective way. So Laura Cornell has successfully led 6 highly successful summits and many holistic and lucrative programs and workshops. She's offered to come talk to us about how to engage and negotiate with your promotions partners so that they actually promote you and you actually get some positive results and tangible results. So you can actually see more about Laura at Divine Feminine Yoga Telesummit. Laura, I'll let you post any links that you want in the chat. And she's already, looks like, posted a link for us. Oh, Laura, did you say something?
I said that's our upcoming summit.
Perfect. So I know you'll tell us more about that. But Laura, if we could hear each other, we would all put our hands together for you, but we could at least put our little fingers in the screen and give you little jazz snaps, little jazz whispers. So welcome, Laura. Thank you. I'm going to hand the talking stick to you.
Great. I love the way that you're having the candle and the centering. It's beautiful. How long do we have today, Jessica, just so I know?
I mean, you have the floor for, say 20 to 30 minutes, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. And if you want it to be interactive during that time too, I'm just going to let you completely lead. So the floor is yours. And
Okay.
if I feel like there's a burning question I have or clarification, I'll hop in. But otherwise, I'm going to mute myself, and it's all yours, Laura.
Well, I could talk for a long time on this topic of how to use affiliates, and I'll be brief to stay within that time that you've given me. And definitely, if you've got questions while we're going along, I can see two of you. But feel free to put in the chat if you're to everyone. Hey, I've got a question, and then I'll be checking that every once in a while, and then we can come to your questions, and definitely we'll do Q&A at the end. So. I was thinking when you were having us close our eyes, Jessica, and center inside, that one of the reasons I think this is tough for us as women who I'm guessing are in your tribe is that we like to be inside, and affiliates is an outside thing. But growing your business does involve making relationships in the real world outside of our own internal practice. I'm guessing many in your community are women healers like me, started as a yoga teacher. We do lead empowerment circles, women's circles, coaches. You may be an acupuncturist, a massage therapist. A lot of the women that I coach now are very introverted. And we get a lot of nourishment from lighting candles and saying Om together and these kinds of things. And it's important to remember that candle even when you go out into the world to meet people. And I want to say that I love this topic because the things that I've done in the world that have mattered most to me have come through meeting other people. You just can't do anything important or anything big, and you can't grow your business, you can't grow your private practice, whatever you're doing, by yourself. It really does take being totally who you are, being completely authentic to what you love, and getting out there in the world. And it can happen in many different ways. I've seen it for myself, first through the Green Yoga Association, which was a nonprofit that I founded 15 years ago when I was teaching yoga. And we had affiliate partners come to our conferences. I didn't know the word affiliate partner. I didn't know that word. I just wanted to produce a conference, and I wanted great teachers there, and we required them all to promote it. They all brought their students, which is how we had 2 awesome large conferences that were quite a success and that had a lot of national press and media coverage, and changed the national conversation about yoga and ecology. So that was extremely near and dear to my heart, extremely fulfilling. I didn't have a business model at that time. And I cough as I say this because even though we were successful with our affiliate partners, you also need a business model on the other end to make it work. So in the end, that nonprofit did not last more than 4 or 5 years, but it did a lot of good when it was around, and it was because of the reach we had through our partners, our co-teachers. And now what I'm doing is the Divine Feminine Yoga work, where I get to spread the message of women's empowerment through yoga, which is also very near and dear to my heart. And this time I have a business model. We're teaching online courses, and I do retreats. I have the Sacred Businesswoman Retreat, where we teach women, healers, to have an empowered business model. And then we have a year-long training and mentoring program. That's my business model now. It has been very successful for 5 years. But the way that we build awareness of our work is through a free event, a free annual event, the Divine Feminine Yoga Telesummit. And this is all done with affiliates. We have one coming up, and I put a sample in here for you to see how this is working. If you can click on that link at the top. This is our next summit. We're going to be launching. The event starts in a month. We'll be starting the promo in 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. Is it working for you, Jessica? Jessica, I can't hear you. Did you mute yourself?
I was muted, so I was trying to. Yes. And it looks beautiful.
So this is the, yeah, so all of the speakers will be affiliates, but you see, I get to do something that I absolutely love, which is talk about yoga with a bunch of amazing, inspiring leaders. And this year, the theme is Women, Yoga, and World Peace. So this is our probably 6th or 7th, I should go back and count, telesummit. And it's a free event. It's very inspiring. It's a global event. We get between 7,000 to 10,000 women at each event registering. So for us as a business, it grows our brand. It grows our email list of prospective clients. But more than that, it's something that I love to do. You know, you see this picture of women holding their arms around each other. That's the feeling we have on our summit. And I love doing these interviews. It's good for our business, but mostly it's just feels good to my heart. So our theme this year is Women, Yoga, and World Peace. Become a goddess warrior for peace through the inspiration of these 20 extraordinary women. And you get to see all the speakers there. Every one of these women then becomes an affiliate partner. And you scroll down, you see myself and my co-host, Jane Mines. And this is our annual event. People look forward to it. We do it over and over again. And for Jessica, I'm sure you've seen that her business model is very much built on affiliates as well through FemTalks, which started when I was going for, when I started coming many years ago, it was smaller and it was primarily promoted through Meetup and or Facebook. So you don't have to do a telesummit and you don't have to do FemTalks. But if there's some type of an inspiration you have to create an annual event that can inspire partners to promote you, inspire partners to join a movement, really, that's what it has to be. It works well when it's a spiritual inspiration that other people want to join a movement, want to join your tribe, whether that's through meetups or through retreats or a conference. It's very inspiring for people to promote you. Now, that's one way of doing it, is to have an annual event or to have a monthly event or something like that with speakers, and if you can even put on a one-time conference in person. I'll say my husband works with affiliate partners very differently, and I'm going to mention him here because I don't want you to think that if it's not your personality type or your inclination to lead a telesummit or to lead something like FemTalks or to start a movement like that, that you have to, because you don't. You can be very effective with affiliates without ever doing events. So, for example, my husband is a functional neurologist, and he started as a chiropractor, and then he added on functional. His first wife had a head injury when he was, 30 years ago. So she could not speak. She was aphasic. So he started studying neurology, and now he's a specialist in head injuries, stroke, children with learning problems, adults with learning problems, anything with the brain, balance, sleep problems, hormonal problems that are related to a loop in the brain. And his primary referral source is affiliates. We wouldn't call it that, but it's people referring to his practice. That's grown up through building relationships over 30 years of practice. And it is, again, a social practice of he will get a new patient and he'll say, what doctor referred you? How did you find out about me? Are you going to see another doctor? He'll pick up the phone and call this. Do I have permission to call your doctor? Do I have permission to call this other practitioner you're seeing and talk to them? I'm working with this person. Can I meet you? You want to talk about this person? And he, over that way, develops his professional network. So there are many ways to do this, but if you can find your way, it makes a big difference in your business. Couple of principles. Who will be your best partners? One is you need to have a spiritual. Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
pause for 1 second. Does anyone hear the robot voice? Is that okay? So it might be that somebody might have. Sometimes that happens, I think, when there's like multiple videos happening at the same time. So if anyone, if you can close your browser other than this this Zoom call, I think that sometimes having a browser open, or if your Facebook is on or something like that, sometimes it does cause a little interference. So I'm Laura, go ahead and just say hi and hello, just so we can see if it's still happening.
Hi and hello.
It's much better. Okay, great. Continue. So sorry about that.
So when you're thinking about partners, who will be the best partners for you? You want to plan strategically. I have always found that the best partners for me are spiritually aligned with me. If you look at the telesummit that I sent the example, that the one that's coming up in February, I feel a vibrancy in my heart. I feel excited when I think about them. There's a congruence. When I pick speakers, I pick women who I know will contribute to the topic. They'll have something intelligent to say. And then they'll contribute in some way on a business level. Either they have quite a large email list. For us, our criteria is 5,000 or more. You might not have that same criteria. Or they're very famous, and just putting their face on adds credibility. So for example, the first person you see on there, Sean Korn, as well as Deva Premal, are exempt from the requirement to promote via email. This is confidential. Please don't go telling my other speakers that. But just so you know, if you get one or two big names on whatever event you're doing, you might exempt them from the requirements that other speakers have. So the other 16 speakers are all sending a standalone email. It's a requirement for participation. We exempted our two most famous, their faces are very known in the yoga community. That's pretty common. They will be putting it in their email newsletters with a small mention, but they're not doing a standalone. So, but they're contributing on a business level, even through their newsletter. Deva Premal's newsletter reach is massive. I was on another summit where she got 800 opt-ins from just a one-line newsletter mention. So somebody with a big reach might have to do less promotion in order to support you the same amount. Or, for me, they're adding diversity. So for example, Purnima Ramakrishnan, who's on our top line, is an award-winning blogger from World Moms Blog, and she lives in India, Chennai, India. She doesn't have an email list, but she's an award-winning blogger, and I really wanted more diversity. I did not want an all-white American panel. So she was also exempt from that requirement. So you may have business reasons for exempting people from particular requirements. Ideal partners serve a similar audience, but with a different solution. So the majority of our speakers serve other yoga teachers, serve other healers, but they don't offer the types of retreats that we do. So I offer business training. I have personally fallen in love with business training and how spiritual principles can help you be successful in business. And so our partners, the other speakers, don't teach business. They teach yoga teacher training. They teach massage therapy training. They teach other advanced yoga topics. So if you can find partners, like let's say you do prenatal massage, you can find doctors and MDs who work with prenatal, but they don't offer massage. Or if you're a naturopath, find other people who help people with digestive problems or backaches. Let's say you work with a chiropractor and they know that their people might need naturopathic solutions as well. For my husband, most of his referral partners are other doctors send him their hardest cases. If you want to check it out, it's jimotisdc.com. He's a very shy guy, but he's learned to be tough. He's got a great welcome video on his homepage of his website, I believe. Not that I'm biased or anything. Jim Otis DC. But for him, he's learned that he actually serves his best referral partners serve the same types of patients, but he gets their hardest cases that they can't fix. Okay? So do an analysis of your past referrals. If you want to say, who should I reach out to? Look at your last 50 referrals, or if you're a newbie, your last 10 referrals, or who you think will be, and who referred them and how did they meet you. And then that will tell you where to go more or where you're missing. He realized he was missing Yelp. He added Yelp. He's getting referrals now from Yelp. Okay, started asking his patients to put, when they're like, thank you, Dr. Otis, you fixed this for me. Oh, would you be willing to say that on Yelp? Yes, remind them 2 or 3 times. So you want to pick somebody who has the same audience, but perhaps a different solution, unless you can take their hardest cases. Spiritually aligned, you like them personally. The best thing is if you can turn your referral partners into friends, right? You want to be friendly with everyone you're working with, and they can contribute to growing your business. So how do you meet them? Be out and about in your community. Go to professional trainings and events and conferences in your industry. Meet the person sitting next to you. Invite someone to go to dinner or to lunch with you or tea. Say, hey, you want to go out to dinner now? Be friendly. Get invited to dinner. Meet the person who's the center of the party and have them introduce you to other people. I just went to the Thrive JV event, which is where I ran into Jessica, who I hadn't seen in a while. And I was so grateful that I got to room with one of the middles of the party, and that was PJ Van Hall. I had met her at a wedding shower for another person that goes there, Brenda Norman. So go to social events and make friends. Carpool with people. And you won't love everybody. You don't have to, but just show up early, be friendly, make a personal connection. And if you hang around that personal connection, you will get invited to sit at the table with a bunch of other people. Just relax and you will make connections. Classes, introduce yourself. I like to go early because at the beginning, people want to make friends especially. They're looking for people to hang out with. They're just as nervous as you are. If you're nervous, I can get self-conscious. Remember, you're not the only one feeling that way. Other people are feeling that way too. So introduce yourself, say, hey, and Jessica's so good at this. Oh, nice to see you. How are you? And let's chat and then follow up. And Jessica's phenomenal with this. She practically messaged me on Facebook the moment we left and said, hey, let's get on the phone. Here's the link to my calendar. You're brilliant at that, Jessica, right? So I'm actually not that good at that. I meet people, I put them in my notes, and then I say, oh, I wish I would follow up. Jessica did. And so I'm like, oh, sure. So I sign up to have a conversation with her. Go early, stay late. Another thing to do is ask for an introduction. If there's somebody you want to meet that you don't know, so for example, for our upcoming summit, there's something called Yoga University Online. And I really wanted them to be a sponsor for us. And I had talked to the owner of that a couple years ago, but I haven't been in touch with her. And so I knew that Judith Lassiter teaches for them. So after I interviewed her the other day, I said, hey, Judith, can you make an introduction? And she said, sure. So it's a note for me to follow up. I'm going to send an email. She's going to forward it and say, hey, I love Laura's summits. They're awesome. She, wants to partner with you. I'm going to offer to promote something they're doing later on in the year and ask them to promote our telesummit. Okay. So it's a win-win. Go early, stay late, help out, volunteer, meet the speaker and meet the organizers, meet the influencers. Just like you want to meet the popular person or the center of attention who can take you to lunch and introduce you to people, meet the person who's going to be on stage beforehand and say, hi, I've been following your work. I love your book. Let's say going to a networking event at Jessica's Fem Talks. Meet the speaker. I've been following you for a while, because they might mention you from the stage, or they might be an influencer who could introduce you to someone else. Meet the organizer, because they might similarly they might say, oh, you need to meet this person, you need to meet that person.
Laura, I wanted to hop in for just a second because I totally agree with that. I think when people go to networking events, it's wonderful to network with the people around you. Like you said, that's always going to bear, awesome connections. And I am definitely a big proponent of, like, when you go to a networking event, network with the other speakers, because they're already people of influence. And even if you can't actually connect live at the event, you can get their card, and kind of the same way I followed up with you, follow up and have a phone chat. And, I think most people are, if you kind of come at it from like, hey, I'd love to talk about how I can support you, or how we can support each other, how we can promote each other. Like, I'm always going to be a yes to that kind of conversation when someone approaches me. So I think, networking with the speakers or the decision makers is like the kind of a power move, because those people are the most well-connected people in the room often. Not always, but often. So thanks for mentioning that. I just wanted to like glue it into people's psyches.
And the way you did it made it really easy, because Jessica just sent me a quick Facebook message. Hey, Laura, I love meeting. Really fun to run into you. Let's get on the phone. Here's the link to my schedule. You made it so easy for me to just click on that link as soon as I got home and pick a time and put it in my calendar. I was booked, So make it really easy for the person. So then what do you do? If you meet 10 people at an event, or 10 people in a month at different events, you're going to have to pick the ones that you think, number one, your heart is really calling you to follow up on, because you're not going to be able to follow up with everyone. And number two, who you think might have the most potential for you guys to support each other. So be strategic in making choices and think, what am I going to be doing? What do I have coming up in my business in the next 6 months to a year that they could support? And what are the resources I might have for their community? You don't know really both ways until you talk to them, but get some guesses in your mind, and that'll help you pick the best potential people to follow up with. So then when you get on an actual conversation with them, there's kind of an outline that I like to use that I give my clients in having what I call partnering conversations. And there's the first part. First of all, don't do this on the spot when you're at a networking event. Don't try to have a real partner conversation. You absolutely need a formal follow-up meeting. So it's it's like you're not going to try to enroll a client at a dinner party. You're going to like, hey, I'd love to help you. Let's get on the phone next week and we can talk about how I could help you. It's the same thing with referral partners. You don't want to get too detailed there. I mean, you can talk about what you're doing and talk about how you could support each other, but very general. You keep the details till later, okay? And then you start with the friendly, because there needs to be, you need to feel, and they need to feel that there's a basis of friendship, there's a basis of trust, and there's a basis of being on the same page in terms of your mission in the world. Like, what are they up to in a big picture way? What are you up to? So I like to say, hey, how have you been? Like, if it's somebody you used to know, like Jessica and I, how's everything been? And I talked about her family and my family, and we just bought a house and co-housing here in Pleasant Hill, and what's going on with your son. And, it's like, that's actually matters. Because people need to feel that you don't just care about the business stuff, but that you actually like them. There's a basis of trust there. And so start with that, and then you move it. So tell me what you have coming on up in your business, and let's listen for ways that I could support you. So let them talk and listen for their business passion, their business mission, their business activities, where they're struggling, what particular programs they have coming up that they might want support, and just listen. And hopefully then they'll ask you as well the same questions. And if they don't, then they're not like a very good partner, because they're not mutual. Things don't have to be 100% equal each way, but there should be some mutuality. For us, when we're doing the telesummit, we reach out and we say, we think you'd be a fit. We'd like to invite you to be a speaker. Here's what's required, here's the benefit to you, here's what we expect. Do you think this is a fit? And we can sometimes get on the phone and talk with them about it. A lot of well-known yoga teachers, or just any yoga teachers, are not used to the idea of sending an email for someone else. And so I have to talk about collaborative marketing. That's the term that I use. I say this is collaborative marketing. We're all working together to make this summit a success. Here's how we're working to make it. We're going to send multiple emails to our list. We're going to be putting ads on Facebook. We're paying for ads on Facebook. We're putting your face on our telesummit page. They like that. Frankly, it's a they like to be speakers. They're speakers, they're teachers. They like to be promoted. And what we expect from you is we ask all the speakers to promote it by sending a standalone email, by any social media posts that you can do. And in return, we give you this exposure. We give you a copy of the recordings and the transcripts. We give you affiliate commissions. So in our case for online, we do 50% of our Moon Pass sales, which is for Women Yoga and World Peace Moon Pass. It's the recordings, the transcripts, and a few bonuses. They get 50%. For the Sun Pass, which is our business building course, it includes 2 tickets to a retreat. It includes a great online course for thriving women healers and other bonuses, many bonuses. They get 30%. It's a $1,000 course. They get 30%. That's a significant revenue for them for just sending an email and then showing up and talking. With my husband, when he has referrals, he gives no referral commission because it's not ethical as a doctor. So you have to, now then he has an online program called braintime.com where he gives 30% referral commissions to doctors who want it, people who don't want it. Lots of partners for that don't even ask for a commission. So you have to see what's ethical given your situation. Once when I was leading a yoga retreat, I had my massage therapist bring clients. She got 30% of anybody that she brought. And then I gave her massages and I got 30% of any of her massages. So it doesn't have to be just online. It can be if you bring sponsors, if you bring a cook, if you bring a massage therapist, if you bring a co-teacher to a retreat, you can do some type of commission based on the number of referrals that they bring to the main event. But so when you're going through your referral partner or your JV partner in conversation, you start with acknowledging them, what you appreciate about them, what you like about them, and how you want to support them. And then when you get to this, then you kind of have there's almost like a shift in the conversation where it's like, you have to check that the energy is right to get to the specifics. Don't rush that. And then when it's time, you say, hey, so let's just see, maybe here's some things we could do. Let's see if we're on the same page. And then you check for agreement. Say, here's some of the ways that I think I could support you, or here's how would this work for you? And then you make a proposal. So here's what we're looking for the summit. So there's some finesse in this part, but you want to be sure that before you get off the call, you get clarity. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with clients of mine, coaching clients, who said, well, I got these referral partners, or they said they would promote me and they didn't. Or they go and they teach a yoga class, let's say at a corporation, and they said, well, they said they were going to promote me, but they didn't, and nobody came to my class. So then they canceled it, or, it's like, did you have a schedule? Like, what is the schedule of the promotion? What materials are you going to get them so they can promote you? By what date? When are you asking them to send their promotion? If you're doing something at a corporation, a lunch and learn talk, when do you want them to send the information about it to their staff? What meetings can they announce it in? Get those things in writing. And if they're like, I don't know, talk through any objections. I've definitely had to talk through objections to, I don't want to do collaborative marketing. Say, well, we do expect this of all of our speakers. If you think your audience wouldn't like our summit, then it may not be a fit for you personally. And then they have to decide, is this good for my audience? Like if you're going to a corporation, say, I'll come give you a free talk, but I need you to put a flyer in the staff room, and I need you to announce it here, and I need you to send out this email. Otherwise, it's not worth my time to come to your corporation and nobody shows up.
Laura, I wanted to hop in here too, just to, kind of a word about integrity, which is some of what you're touching on. I recently got asked to be a part of four summits. And the last one that I was asked to be a part of is the one that I want to be a part of the most. I found out about it the most recently. So I'd already scheduled the other summits, and I actually had to say no because I know that I won't actually be able to promote it in the way that she's asking. Like, and she probably won't do another summit this year. So it's like, oh, I would love to be part of the summit, but I would be out of integrity. I'd basically be lying to say, oh yeah, I want to be part of the summit. It's going to be awesome. And then not promote it in the way that she's very specifically asking and very reasonably asking us to. So I just wanted to speak to that, just kind of the, being in, like, coming from a place of your values and really asking of other people to do the same. Because it's easy to just go like gobble, kind of go into hungry ghost, speaking gig, opportunity, without then also thinking about your calendar and, how am I going to give to this process as well as a contributor or as a speaker. So anyway, I just want to speak to that piece of integrity and values. And I love that you're touching on it.
Yeah. So what I recommend is get clarity orally before you get off the phone of what you're going to do on what date, how you're going to support each other in what way. And then immediately follow up with an email. Here's what I understand you said. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what you're going to do. Do you agree? Did I get this right? Just so we're on the same page. And you want to get back, yes, right, or no, I heard this part differently. And then you, so that's your written agreement, is an email. And then you remind them early and often, say, here's your promotional material. Here's the email I promised you. Here's the flyer that I told you, goes to you, and you remind them of the dates. Thank you for agreeing to promote this on this date, and here's your stuff to do that. Let us know if you have any questions. So follow up, remind early and often, and be available on the phone or have your assistant available to answer any questions. So I think that's all I have, and I'm open to hearing questions that you have or how this might apply to your situation.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Laura. I'm happy to open up to Q&A, and I appreciate the clear and concise steps that you gave us. So I think what I'm going to do is, I don't know, what do you think, Laura? I'm going to ask your wisdom if I should unmute everyone and just have everyone. I guess I'll unmute everyone, and if you've got noise in the background, ladies, you can go ahead and just mute yourself, either on your phone for those of you that called in, or there's you should be able to easily figure out in your bottom left corner, those of you that are on video, there's a little mute button. So I'm going to unmute everyone, and we'll just have a free-for-all. So ask Laura anything, because we're going to wrap this up here in a moment. So now's the time.
I'll start with, if you don't mind. So I've been actually doing a handful of things that you've been talking about, and wanting to put together a summit and joint venture partners. And I've been going to different events, trying to go early, stay late, do all this stuff here. So I love that you're putting that on the table, because it's really what it takes to make the relationships and make it happen. And my question is more, I guess, is there a way to really just kind of narrow down exactly a little bit more of who you're speaking with and going to? And because you get into a big room and it's hard to define right away who to talk to. Do you have some tips or tricks to kind of nail that down? Maybe a couple questions, and then maybe refer them to somebody else, and then
Tell me your name.
What's that?
What's your name?
Joanna.
Cool. Okay, Joanna. So yeah, you don't want to talk to everybody. It's too many. And there's a couple ways to do it. One is just who you resonate with. That can be one. You could just be energetically drawn to one person over others. But the other is to know really specifically who your niche is and what you're wanting to do. Okay. Sometimes if you go into a room, it's really impossible to know who's going to be right for you. I'll think when I just went to the JV retreat in December, a couple people said, oh, you've got to meet Erin Birch, because, I think she does healing, and she lived at a yoga center. she may or may not turn out to be an affiliate partner for me, but I enjoyed meeting her. I'm not sure there was anyone in that room that was going to be an awesome affiliate partner for me, and maybe other than Jessica. You know, for me, my ideal room is a room of yoga people. And so when I'm in a room, a general room of business people, it's more about business friendships and business support. And I made a number of business friends, and somebody that I had worked with before said, oh yeah, I'll do a Facebook ad and a promotion for your next telesummit. And another person had a really good idea for me. And Jessica and I are supporting each other in some ways. And so it's more general for me when I'm in a room of business coaches or business people. But my ideal place is yoga people, high-level yoga people. And I might actually be in a yoga conference and go up and introduce myself to the 2 or 3 speakers and invite them to be speakers on our next summit. So for you, it's what are you planning to do that would involve the speakers, and what is your niche? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you can ask, once I was at a big conference of, I think, 500 people with my husband. It was Suzanne Evans' Be the Change. And my husband got up at the mic early on and said, you know, that he was working with children with ADHD. He was one of the few men in the room, and he just named his niche at that time, which was ADHD. It's not still his niche, but at that point he was really focusing on that. And so what happened was, over the course of the weekend, about 10 people who had an ADHD niche out of those 500 came up to meet him. So if you can get to the mic early on and say what your niche is, that helps. Just by ask a question, and as you're asking the question, you introduce yourself with your niche.
Gotcha.
And I think too, Joanna, you know, awesome people hang out with other awesome people. So if you already know a couple of other, I don't know for you if it'd be real estate agents, or, you know, I'm just taking a guess, that, like, let's say you already have, you know, 3 people that are awesome affiliates, or you just have a good feeling about them. You've had conversations with them, kind of in the same way that you might ask for client referrals. You could also be like, hey, who do you know that's also, you know, an expert in XYZ field that you think would make an awesome, you know, if Laura reached out to me, it's like, I mean, she's very connected, but if she was just starting out, it's like, yeah, I could definitely send a handful of yoga teachers her way who have big lists, because I'm kind of in that world as well. So that's another thing in terms of, you know, just like who you're already connecting with. So another little tip that I found useful in finding speakers and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm putting together a summit beginning of April, and I was looking for women who've come from nothing that now have a multi 6-figure and 7-figure business. So to me, it's the reaching out to the different women, and women in the multi 6-figure, almost 7-figure and more are not as easy to reach for this summit. So I was trying to figure out how to maybe dial that down more to reaching out.
What you need is some kind of a hook to get the first 2.
Okay.
You need.
I have 4 right now. So.
Who do you have?
Oh, I don't have the list in front of me. I have Cindy Padilla. I have this wrong file.
Well, here's what I want.
Thompson and Holly Lynn. I'm not sure if you know these people, but and I have a word out to Sage. She was referred to me by Sylvia Valentine. So
here's the thing: is big names like to be on the stage with other big names.
Yeah.
So if you can get 1 or 2 confirmed, then you can get the others in line, because then when you send your invitation to the others, you have a really hot title and you say, Sage Levine is already confirmed and this person is already confirmed. But you need to have a way and a reason. It could be that they're your mentor and you're paying them a ton of money and they want to help you.
Yeah.
Or could be that you're a personal friend of theirs, or it could be you've picked their pet topic, or it could be that you're going to be donating to their pet nonprofit. You know, you want to find an in with one or two very well-known people, because once you get the headliners, everyone else is like, oh, she's getting really good people. She's got her stuff together. Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
I wanted to jump in real quick. What I'd like to do, would love for us all to stay on the line together. What I'm going to do is end the Zoom recording, because we want to make this available for the other women, and I think it's a little easier if it's a shorter video. And you lose out if you're not here live. You don't get the Q&A and the one-on-one attention from Laura. So I just wanted to take a moment to wrap up just for the recording, but we're all going to stay on the line together for a few more minutes. So thank you so much, Laura, for being here. You're going to stay with me to answer questions. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to see, I think, all of you tomorrow at the retreat. Before we end recording, Laura, was there anything that you wanted to include in the recording? We have your link here, but I just wanted to give you an opportunity, but then we're going to continue to answer questions.
I will give you my personal email. It's l@divinefeminineyoga.com, and I'll say that if any of you would think that you have yoga people on your lists that would benefit from our Divine Feminine Yoga Telesummit, it's all free calls. So if you would like to be an affiliate, you know, Jessica's doing it. Jessica's going to be promoting it, and you could join her in sending this free resource to your lists, and then you could earn affiliate commissions if anyone were to purchase the upgrades. And it's going to be a really awesome event with free live Facebook events each day and these 20 free interviews. And we get so many appreciations and thank yous from women all over the world for really making this available. So if you're at all interested, contact me, or just go on our website and contact my team and say that you'd love to help get the word out. You can even do it simply on Facebook, or you could send an email. So either one.
Awesome. All right, beautiful. I'm just going to turn off the recording, but we're all going to stay here with one another. So thank you. Thank you.